Hello everyone, this is Carlos, and here is my list of the top 10 games of 2017. From the beginning, I could tell that Resident Evil 7 was going to be pretty cool. Even with its new approach and perspective, I was still able to see glimpses of what had made the original game so great. You know, things like taking your time, exploring a creepy, claustrophobic environment, managing your inventory and limited resources, all the while solving puzzles, fighting creepy monsters, and having that feel that something was always watching you. Or that something was right around the corner just waiting to pounce on you. I was surprised with how much I actually ended up liking this game. I started up a new playthrough as soon as I had finished it for the first time, and for the next few weeks I would constantly be telling people, dude, you need to play this game. It's like old school Resident Evil. It's got all the good stuff from those games. It may not look like it, but it is. On the downside, just like old school Resident Evil games, the story is absolutely stupid. I mean, the Bakers are an interesting cast, but the rest of the story is no. I think it's better to ignore it, or to do like people have been doing with the other games, just kind of think of it as a bad movie that you have as background noise while you're dealing with the very good, very atmospheric gameplay. As a closing statement, I want to bring up that Nick has over and over been saying that the VR version of the game is the definitive way to play it. I mean, even if you can't play the game in VR, you still need to play it. But I do want to say that after playing a little bit of the game in VR, I realized that while it is really cool, it also makes a couple things in the game easier in a bad way. You know, since in VR you aim your guns by moving your head, there is not a lot of recoil, because that would, you know, be very disorienting if every time you shoot you have to like reorient your head without having moved it first. So because of this, fighting enemies is a lot less tense than it is when you're using a traditional controller. You know, you never get those situations in which you're trying to get a headshot, but your aim sways and you miss, and the enemy keeps getting closer, and you like get really focused about making this next shot count. You know, those moments are very sparse if you play in VR. And also, interestingly, playing in VR makes it a little easier, in my opinion, to find hidden items, because you tend to like look behind furniture and look around objects like you would if you were looking for something in real life. I mean, I think that's more interesting than a downside, you know? I just thought I had to bring that up while I was talking about the game. I don't like puzzle games. I did, however, like Gorogoa. It's a pretty cool, very chill little puzzle game in which you move around and zoom in and out and combine and juxtapose several panels in order to create these very neat perspective tricks to move the story along. It's a little hard to explain just how cool and how crazy this mechanic gets later on without showing a lot of it and thus spoiling it. So you're just gonna have to go out there and play it. You know, I think the best moments in this game come when a solution kind of starts showing itself through. Like, you'll be trying to figure something out, and you'll kind of start to see, or you start to get little hints at what the game wants you to do. And once that clicks, and you're trying to like get the pieces aligned to kind of get that to happen, it's such a great moment. Like, it's great. It's amazing. Like, when I first played this, I stuck with it for a bit, but then I kind of gave up and went to bed. But 15 minutes later, I was out of bed. Like, no, like I was almost there. I can't quit now. I have to finish it. So I did, and I ended up staying up until 3 in the morning and beating the game. To be honest, I may have only put this game on my list because I finished it, but that's okay. I've always liked real-time strategy games, but I've also always been pretty bad at them. For this reason, I really like Tooth and Tail, which is an RTS that I'm also really bad at. Fortunately, Tooth and Tail has distilled the RTS experience to its most basic levels, so it only takes people online 2.5 minutes to absolutely annihilate me, rather than, 20 or 30 minutes. It's also easy for me to see how bad I did. Like, I can pull up the match replay and kind of understand what I did wrong and why I'm so bad, versus other strategy games in which I pull up a replay and end up leaving more confused in regards to what actually happened. This simplicity also allows for people to try out crazy stuff like Hail Mary pass kind of stuff just to see if it works, and when it does, it's really, really cool to watch. The campaign, the single player campaign, is also really good. I really liked the story. It's about, you got a bunch of different factions fighting over who gets to control the meat supply. You got the rich people, you got the common people, military, and this religious aristocracy. They're all trying to implement different systems to decide who gets to eat who. And it gets pretty crazy towards the end. Like, this is definitely a game I think more people should play. You might think that Stories Untold is a text adventure game, or at most a point and click adventure game, but no, there's much more to the game than that. It actually reminded me more of Papers, Please, in that throughout all 4 episodes of it, it's an episodic game. You're dealing and interacting with the game in a very tactile manner. It starts off with you typing in a keyboard, and that becomes flipping switches and turning knobs, all while switching back and forth between the workspace that you're solving puzzles in and like manuals and instructions that you have to like flip the pages of. It has an incredibly Papers, Please feel. It's also really, really creepy. You feel like you never really know what's happening, but you do know that something is very wrong. That feeling never really leaves you, and it makes you constantly uneasy while playing this game. The only complaint I have with it is that the narrative ambiguity that it has kind of falls apart at the end as the game tries to tie together all of these vignettes with some overarching narrative that is not very good, and that ends up just taking away a lot of the mystery and strangeness. You might think differently than me, so if you end up playing through this and you want to talk about it, be sure to hit me up. I'm sure you can figure out how, because I really like this game and I want to talk about it with people more. I like Aztez so much that I played about 20 hours of Brad's Steam Shirt version before I ended up buying my own, and I don't think it was on sale when I bought it. That's because this game is really good and I really, really like it. It's a 2D combat game with a surprisingly deep and easy to get into weapon switching combo combat system. The whole point of the game is you want to be as flashy as you can. It's easy to get through most of the game with a couple simple combos that you figure out early on. But if you want to get high scores, or if you want to feel like a real warrior, you're going to try to pull off more and more complicated stuff. You know, juggling enemies for longer, throwing them up in the air, switching weapons mid-combo, stuff like that. And in between the combat segments, there's a pretty cool strategy game that adds another layer to the game. It's really simple, but if you wanna win at it and get the true ending, you have to like actually pay attention and be thinking a couple moves ahead. You know, both parts of the game, the combat and the strategy, work together really well. Like doing well in one, it earns you rewards in the other, and so on and so forth. And they're both really accessible. But like I said earlier, if you want to be good at the game, you have to like pay attention and actually try at both. To close, I would really like to see more like Mesoamerican settings in games or other fiction. I'm a big fan, and I think it's like a really cool historical setting. I think it should be used more. I still fire this game up every now and then. You know, I'm trying to still get through the arena challenges, and I'm still trying to get the true ending of the game, because it's pretty hard. It's easy to get into, but if you want to do really good, it's pretty hard. You have to like spend time with the game and master it. Everybody loves Prey. At least most of the people on the site know. Everybody loves Prey. It's the closest thing we're gonna get to System Shock 3 for a while, and in my opinion, that is some high praise. System Shock 2 is my favorite game, and I am willing to consider it its own genre. You know, it mixed all of its elements, first-person exploration, inventory, RPG systems, all those mechanics in a very amazing way. And Prey does the exact same thing, with the bonus that the spellcasting system, I mean, they're abilities or whatever, but I'm going to call them spells, I don't care. This spellcasting system is not as horribly obtuse as the one in System Shock 2. And I bet people are tired of how much this game keeps getting compared to System Shock 2. I mean, even me, I probably spend more time in this segment talking about System Shock 2 than I have about Prey. But to me, that is about the highest praise one can give a game that draws as much inspiration from System Shock 2 as Prey does, you know. The world in Prey is fantastic, the crafting is a really nice touch, the enemies are very spooky, the music is loud and annoying, so I turned it down, and the game became 8 times better. I'm sorry, Mick Gordon. And you have so much freedom in how you can do things. However, I would have liked to see a bit more limitation placed on where the player could go and do based on the options they had made. Like maybe have a couple secret places only accessible with a very specific combination of equipment and abilities. Because the way the game works, you can pretty much figure out a way anywhere, no matter what like skill points you got going on. But I think it would have been nice to reward players that fully committed to a specific playstyle with like some walled off areas that you could see as a player with a different skill set but unable to access, you know? Also, I really dislike the ending. It's really bad. Like, I am going to pretend it doesn't exist and that the game ended 10 minutes before it actually did. If you do that and turn the volume down on the music, the game is like, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Let's get it out of the way. Cuphead looks, sounds, and controls amazing. But I think its greatest achievement is that every time you start a level, no matter if it's your first, third, or 100 try. Well, maybe not first, but all of them feel like the one. Like every time you start a stage, it feels like this is it. Like this is the time I'm gonna beat this. And then you take a hit and you get back up and you're like, doesn't matter, I can still do this. And your whole body tenses up and you become focused with the game. The fight seems to go on forever. You know, you're barely hanging on with your life. Your muscles start to burn from gripping the controller so hard. And just when you think you can't take it anymore, you land the final hit. And the boss dies. And it feels like this great weight has been taken off of you. You can relax, slump back in your chair a bit, take a deep breath of air, and then you look at the victory screen and realize that this whole situation only took about 2 minutes. But it's been some of the tensest 2 minutes you've experienced in video games. Also, every minute you spend playing the game is a minute you're getting better. Like it's like in RPGs and other games, you know, you level up your character, but when you're playing Cuphead, what is leveling up is you. Like you're the one that's getting stronger and better at the game. That, I think, is Cuphead's greatest achievement. Disco Bear is a silly little game / toy that you can play for free right now on your browser. Just go to discobeargame.com. The whole experience only takes about 10 minutes, and you should do that. In Disco Bear, you play as a bear who loves dancing. And not only does he dance because he loves to dance, he also dances to forget. There is a very affecting story behind everything. You use the arrow keys to make him dance. He can dance up, he can dance down, he can dance to the left, and he can dance to the right. There are actually no prompts to follow. There's no rhythm game element in this. All you do throughout the game is dance however you want to dance. Your moves are the best moves. To be honest, I think I spend more time hanging out in Discord, spamming memes and emojis than I did playing games in 2017. My favorite Discord moment was where, for some reason, the Divinity Original Sin 2 channel and the Destiny 2 channel started this crazy beef. Like, I think it started when somebody posted to the wrong channel by accident, and the people from that channel started making fun of him, and it got a little crazy after that. I think people's feelings got hurt in real life. As a matter of fact, I think those channels don't exist anymore because they had to be deleted because of the strife that they were causing in the community. It was both a dark time and the best of times in our Discord, which y'all should join, by the way. It's discord.gg/4player. If I get it wrong, please fix this in post. Amazing game. Hollow Knight is a perfect game. Like, every time you boot it up, you find something new. A new area, a new path, a new skill, a new boss. It's all the way like that to the very end. The game is perfect. If you don't like Hollow Knight, you should be arrested. You know how good Hollow Knight is? You know how I usually put some stupid meme shit as my number one because that's kind of my shtick? Not in 2017. That's how good Hollow Knight is. Well, guys, this has been fun. I hope you enjoyed listening to my list as much as I enjoyed making it. Well, I didn't make it. Chris Davis made the video. I want to thank Chris Davis. Chris, you are my number one game of 2017. Dog, I love you.